Well, hello, I'm Chris Cahill, and welcome to Q4 Quest Business Coaching, where we're all about helping you outthink, outmaneuver, and outsell your competition by aligning dollars and dreams. Don't forget to visit us at q4quest.com. All right, welcome to Q4. This is Chris Papa Joe Cahill, and I'm back here with my partner, Trevor, Coach T, Process Ninja Pinnell. Which one do you prefer?
Process Ninja is kind of a mouthful, so Coach T, I'll pull a whistle out if we need to, but
Right on, man. All right, Coach T it is for now. But hey, listen, so this morning before we even started the call, we were talking. I got a text from just somebody we work with here in the community, followed right after a call. And the call that we were on was somebody saying, I need you to call and talk with somebody that I work with here at a local restaurant and so forth. And we were hoping that you could help them. And as I'm hanging up from that, I get a text. And the text, of course, is from a friend of mine up in Jacksonville saying, hey, here's a friend of mine that I need you to call in Tallahassee. And so, of course, when we're looking at that, I'm thinking, wow, that's 2 referrals on a Monday morning that came from marketing? No, it came from relationships. And, when I think about marketing, we're always talking about that over and over and over again, the 77. And we hit on that last week. So, Trevor, Coach T, what I'm hoping that we could talk on for a few minutes today is what the 77 are, what it means to actually find your superpower and learn the right 2 or 3 things that are going to move the needle, and then how Q4 kind of brings that alignment together. And so that's what I was hoping that we could hit on right now, because frankly, I'm not a huge fan of expensive marketing. And I think that relationship, management relationships are really the key to everything. And I know from Dale Carnegie and How to Win Friends and Influence People through the Zig Ziglars, the Tony Robbins, the Ron Carsons, and all these names that we all know, the cornerstone of all of this is just relationships, actually caring about making people's lives better. And the rest sort of takes care of itself. And when you kind of flip that on its head, then you start fighting. You start wondering, well, how am I going to grow my business? Why can't I get more leads? I can't get any referrals. I don't know what's going on. And it's like, well, maybe you're focused so much now on what's in it for you that you stop to remember that if you just pause and help people get what they want, you can get everything you want. So let's talk about that, Trevor. Tell me a little bit about what is the 77 and what do you see in the businesses that you're coaching and training doing, and what do we do with it?
Yeah. So let's take this bite at a time. So 77. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to list off 77 different ways that you can market your business, starting with yellow pages, newspaper ads, magazine, radio. No, that's boring. I'm not going to do that. That's
okay, good. I was going to say, should I start writing this down?
No, but it's not wrong. Like there's, we say 77 kind of tongue in cheek. There's a million different ways to, it could be a plane with a banner. It could be drawing sand on the beach. It could be Instagram, Facebook, social media, Reddit. You could, do smoke signals. You could, wear a t-shirt. You could wrap your truck. There's, like I said, there's more than 77, but usually if you start looking at, there's 77 focused ways, like anything from Google ads to Facebook ads to that's all digital, from networking that you love, referral systems and things of that nature. But one of the things that last week that kind of made me chuckle as we started talking about that, all of that doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
And this is what I mean.
Right. Explain to the listener.
You could market all 77 different ways and it will work some, but if you don't actually have a story and a process behind it, you're just throwing money at the wall.
Right. A lot of money.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. We've read articles, average Facebook spend, I think right now is over $1,000 a month plus whatever you're spending on your just burning money just to actually pay for clicks and everything else. So it can get real expensive, and that's small business. So obviously depending on the size of your business, those numbers could scale significant.
Yeah. So, and like I said, none of them are bad. You just have to figure out what do you have the bandwidth for. So unless you're like a Fortune 200 company and you can have teams of people dedicated to that one particular task, 77 is a lot. There's no way I could do all of that.
7 is a lot.
7 is a lot. 7 is still too many.
Right.
Because if you look at business owners and how that would work out, like you have to dedicate your time to process and sales. You have to dedicate time to marketing. You have to dedicate time to employeeship. You have to dedicate time to product development, things like that. And there's no way you can handle more than that. So
what do you suggest?
So what I suggest. So, throwback Kaizen.
Right.
Everything.
Incremental steps towards balance, improvement.
Yeah. So I joke that everything's karate and circles within circles. Everybody has their own philosophy on that. But if you think about it, you should really be good at something. Usually some people are better at talking.
We call that a superpower.
Right? Some people are better at digital marketing. Some people are better at, creative pictures. Some people are better at, driving Lamborghinis.
Right.
Everybody's good at something. Right. What it aligns with what
Daniel, we'll be calling you soon.
Right. So everybody has something that they can do well. So if you're on Facebook all the time and you're really good at that, and you understand how to do the new Facebook ad update, awesome. You should probably run that lane and maybe 2 or 3 others, but no more than that. Because then you're overwhelmed marketing all the time. You're not actually working in your business and on your business. There's no balance.
So you're saying if I shouldn't look at 77 ways to market, I should look at even less than 7, 1, 2, maybe 3.
Yep. Pick your, at very most, your 5 favorite.
Okay.
And then even if you just did 3, let's say I'm better at using Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Okay. So you're saying I could build a business with Facebook?
You could. Okay. Absolutely. If that was your thing and you knew how to do it right, and you had a process and a story behind it.
Okay. What do you mean? Okay. A process and a story. Now, those are the 2 things that we focus on, right?
Yes.
So while marketing people say, hey, we'll help you market, we say, well, we'll help you build the process and story you need to make that marketing meaningful. So now let's come back to what you mean when you say your process and your story. Without that's a whole podcast. That's a life. That's a journey in itself. But real quick, high level, what do you mean when you say process and journey?
Great.
Story.
The crazy guy dancing on a hill.
Right.
Have you heard that story?
No, go ahead. Share it with me.
Okay. Well, so it was probably the 60s or something.
Okay.
I don't know. A long time ago. It was probably a Tuesday.
And it was raining in Florida. Okay.
So they were at a concert, and there's this guy, and he was just in his zone. He was vibing on top of the hill, and he was just doing like this weird, like wavy arm, wacky inflatable tube man type of dance. And everybody there were just looking at him, but he was just living his best life, big smile, loving it. And the music continues and goes on. 15 minutes later, another person joins him.
Okay.
So one person joins them, and then another person joins them.
Okay.
So now there's like a crowd of people wacky arm waving on the top of a hill, and everybody's just thinking, this is ridiculous.
Okay.
I want to go do that.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want what he's got.
So by the end of the concert, like, you have all these guys on top of the hill just dancing like weird people. The point being is, like, that guy found his niche and was magnetic to the people around him. Now, you'll remember that story.
Yeah.
Crazy person on a hill, and why being magnetic is important. Did that make either of us money just now?
Not right now.
No, because there's no process behind it.
Ah, very well said. I hear you. I hear you. So tell me about process real quick.
Okay. So when we start talking about process, so everybody has a superpower. Then we needed actually to put bread on the table, because we kind of live in this earthly world where people get hungry, especially if you have a family.
Yep. Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Right. So as a servant heart as I might be, I don't want my kids to go hungry.
No margin, no mission.
Yeah.
Takes money to make the world go round.
So here's the thing is we get our superpower, we become magnetic, but if you don't actually have the process to follow it up to where you can actually capture people and then make it a margin off of it, then, it's great if you're Mother Teresa, or if you're Gandhi, or if you're, you can go live in a cave.
Yeah. It's interesting, when you think about it, I think a lot of people find that they have one or the other. I see a lot of really good people working from home, or career changers, or post-military, or whatever it may be. And they have all the heart in the world. They have a servant's heart. They love children, or they love the community. They love to serve, whatever their story may be. They have all of that, but they don't have a process. And so they're running around tired and exhausted saying, I know I've got something. I know the world needs what I have to say. And yet month after month, year after year, I'm waking up going, I don't know how to pay the bills with what I've got. I see that in the insurance world all the time. And, you see a lot of people wash out. It's a low barrier of entry, which means it's easy to get in. But then those that can actually succeed and have a life-changing career out of it are few, because you got to not have just the heart, but you got to have the process. And then you also will see, unfortunately, companies, and you can get a decent, sustainable kind of size with repeatable process. Because there's magic in having a repeatable process. You can do anything consistently, and eventually you're going to find a way to make some money on it. but I don't know if you're actually having the same kind of impact. And I doubt that you're actually living that same kind of passionate, on fire kind of life when you're just going through this process, because now you are just going through the motions. And what we find is when you can learn to align, we call that Q4 alignment. But when you can learn to align what you do in your actions with what you say and believe with your intentions, all of a sudden you start living that Q4 life, that Q4 inspired life. And it's like going down that river. And here in Florida, we have, the Silver River and we have the Rainbow River and all that. And it's a big pastime to get on a tube and float down the river with a drink, and you're chased by alligators, that kind of thing. And we love it here in Florida. But here's the thing. When you go down the river, you're in the current, you're in alignment with where the water's going, and it's fun, it's relaxing, it's enjoyable, you make memories. But what happens when you try to forge the river and get from one side to the other? You get tired, you get exhausted, you start saying, I know this is supposed to be fun, where'd it go? What happened? And so I guess if I'm hearing what you're saying, there's another story for you, but it comes back down to, how do we align our actions and our identity? How do we align our process with our passion and our purpose so that we can find a way to have margin and fulfill our mission, our calling, our passion? And what I'm hearing you say is anything will work, but you have to find what is authentic for you. Find your voice, find your superpower. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to, we brought this up because of the 77, right?
Yeah.
If you try to do all 77, you're going to get exhausted.
Yeah.
If you try to do 5 and you don't have process behind it, you're spinning your wheels. You're like the hamster on the circle. It's,
right.
You're doing, but you're not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
So it you have to lay that track out. So almost like, if you could envision a train on a track, chug, 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 chug. And it works like that too. I put a Facebook ad out there. Nothing happened.
Right.
It had the perfect story. Okay. And then you got to change it a little bit. You need to tweak it.
Right.
Who's it landed on? Who's going to respond to it? How do they respond to it?
Right.
What happens after they respond to it? Do you
the
have
process behind it?
Yeah,
the science.
People are like, oh, I put a Facebook ad and nothing happened.
Right.
It's
right.
a little bit more than that, unless you were literally just giving away gold bars for $1.
Right. And even then, I think you'd have trouble because no one would believe you.
Yeah.
Why are you giving me away a gold bar for $1? You got to give me the story as to why I should believe you. And then you need a process for delivering that. And you're right back to the heart and science.
Yep. So we talked about, 77. No, 7, too many. 5, okay.
Maybe.
Right. But then you have to figure out what works for you. I know that you personally, you love to run around and shake hands and kiss babies and that's your thing.
Right.
Like a crazy person, you're going to go ribbon cutting and meet the mayor, and you're going to have the center of influences all over the place you're at.
I just love people.
Yeah. And I like people.
Question mark? No, I know what you mean though. But you like the process of helping people. You like to see them improve.
Which is funny because like if you ever meet us out in public, you're going to be like, he's so off-putting. He doesn't say anything.
It's quiet.
Yeah. And it's not that. I'm really just listening to you.
Yeah.
You're going to say something. You're going to say, I need. And then that's when my ear perks up.
Absolutely.
Because I can actually do something for you after that.
Right. Well, I think the wisest person in the room is often the quietest, and they're waiting for the opportunity to speak and only speak when necessary. And so as a person who can't stop talking, I don't know what that says about me, but I found a way to use my superpower to help people. So it's all good. And I think that's the summation of what we're saying here is, don't try to do everything and be everything. Be authentic, and then naturally grab the people that are designed for you and that you're designed for are going to be drawn magnetically to you, kind of like the moth to the flame, and that being the light in the darkness will attract those that are seeking that light. And I think that's it. And you're just trying to be organic and authentic, and people will see that authenticity and they will just gravitate towards you. Do the 1 or 2 things that are naturally you, and don't try to do 77 that somebody else told you should do.
Yeah, well, and that's important. The should do's.
The supposed to's?
Supposed to.
Throw away the supposed to's and just be you.
I'm going to be your consultant so I can refine your SEO, and that's going to fix all your problems.
Absolutely. And, it's funny you say that. There are 4 types of people, Trevor, obviously, that we think about. And I'll pull it up if you've had a chance to look at the website, if anybody's looked at it. But we always talk about it. There's counselors, consultants, right? And we've got coaches. And it's funny, if you look at it, take a look at this. Counselors. What do counselors do? They talk. And it even says on our website, counselors are often talk heavy, but they don't often have a lot in the way of strategy. And then you might have consultants, and consultants are often strategy heavy. They came out of a corporate world. Oftentimes they know something and they're like, I know how to do this. I know search engine optimization, or I know change leadership, or I know whatever. And then it's like, great, but that's not my weakness. My weakness is I need better infrastructure. I need better operations. I need to work on my P&L. And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, search engine optimization will definitely help with your P&L. And it's like, well, I guess I could outsell my way out of bad habits, or I could improve my habits and just have a more efficient company. So when you get into those types of things, the reality is you just got to be you. Find what's you, and then learn how to make you repeatable and accessible to everybody. And I think that's where the magic is. In fact, Trevor, I said I was only going to ask you one more time back, but I'm going to say that every time until you say no. But I want to ask if you'll come back one more time, because I want to talk about alignment, specifically when you look at the difference between what most consultants, coaches, and counselors are doing, and then really what it means when you just learn how to organically kind of be yourself. How do I fish instead of just buying more fish? And I was hoping maybe you come back one more time and we'll talk about how you can use learning how to fish to organically and authentically tell your story in a way that'll help you find more traffic, more talent for your company, better transactions, meaning more sales per relationship, and higher tickets, meaning higher revenue, more revenue, higher sales per each relationship. Because I think the secret might be easier than most people think. Because if you could get one more person a week to listen to your story and buy one more thing at a little bit higher price, and then attract one more good quality employee to help you compound that story, it just starts to snowball from there. And those are the 4 T's. Will you come back one more week and talk to us about that?
I sure will. But you left the one off that I like the most.
What's that?
It's big box.
Big box?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've always been the underdog fan.
Okay.
So what's the problem with big box in most small businesses?
You're a number.
You're a number.
Nobody knows your name.
Nobody knows your name, and
it's the same for everybody, and it's expensive. I can't afford it.
And
local mom and pops, $10,000 a month might be great, and you might get great advice. Except for if you're a startup and you only have $0 per month, you're right. That's out of reach. It's not realistic.
Yeah, but that's not what I wanted to do.
Okay.
With our company, it's not what I envisioned. Right.
Yeah.
Servants heart change communities. Right. So it was the low barrier of entry.
Yeah.
Like, how can we make a great impact, but also, make sure I can put bread on the table?
Well, shameless plug, but I love what you've done. I love what you've done with what we call your lane within the company. And it's like, while we're running our private coaching, which is a lot like almost like a bar rescue for companies of all types and industries. In your lane, you've really taken that kind of like that startup, that boot camp, that I have a dream, how do I make it reality world? Mm-hmm. And you've brought it down to something that is reachable, that's realistic, from a price point, from an implementation perspective. And I love that. I love that. I've seen you take people that have had one career, move them into another, and then, a year or two later, they're working on, I think, their 12th franchise in one specific situation. And it's like, that's pretty cool.
It is.
That's really cool. And you've changed that person's life forever. And I know you've got some pretty cool ideas coming up for some local programs to do the same. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about that in the upcoming episodes. But anything else you want to add to today, man? It's been a pleasure as always having you around.
No, I guess I'm coming back.
All right. I'll see you next week, man. One more time, unless I can find a way to twist your arm again. But I know we got a lot of things to do. Love having you here again. Q4 Quest. I'm Papa Joe, and this is Coach T. Thanks for being with us. So whether you're ready to bring life in alignment or not is your call. But remember, in the end, we only regret the chances that we failed to take. Visit us online at q4quest.com. And if you're qualified, coachable, and committed to your growth, your future, let's talk today.